The cruelest form of gaslighting examples, be careful, the narcissist's favorite tool of manipulation.
Have you ever had an argument with someone and walked away confused, wondering if you were actually going crazy? Do the people closest to you often make you doubt your own memory and perception of reality? If this sounds familiar, you may be experiencing a harmful form of emotional manipulation called gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone deliberately and systematically convinces you that your version of reality is false. It's a dangerous tactic used by toxic people to gain control. In this video, I'll reveal some of the surprising signs that someone may be gaslighting you. Just in case you already recognize that this narcissist is destroying your life, stealing your time, and draining your resources, but still feel stuck and unable to move on, I recommend watching this video.
How to finally get over your ex-narcissist when you still obsess over them?
The link is in the description below. This video has excellent advice on breaking the trauma bond, going no contact, and shifting your mindset to stop obsessing over the narcissists so you can move forward in a healthy way. Watch it if you know you need to walk away from this parasitic leech, but are struggling to take that first step. It will give you the clarity and courage you need to escape this abyss of abuse. Stick with me, and you'll learn why these malignant miscreants are on a one-way ticket to brainwash you, but learning these examples will prepare you so they can go on personal annihilation and burning the bridge they stand on.
They deny things they said or did.
Gaslighters will outright deny promises or statements they previously made that you clearly remember or have proof of. This deliberate distortion of reality is designed to destabilize and confuse the victim. When done repeatedly over time, denying facts or past conversations leads the target to profoundly distrust their own memory, perception, and sanity. A husband notices a concerning leak in the ceiling and asks his wife to call their landlord to fix it.
Did you end up calling the landlord yesterday about the leak like you said you would?
What are you talking about? I never said I'd call the landlord.
By firmly denying she ever agreed to make the call, despite her husband's clear recollection, the wife erodes his confidence in his own mind. This insidious form of gaslighting trains the husband to doubt his own reality and instead rely on her version of events. If this pattern continues, the husband may become conditioned to distrust even vivid memories and concrete evidence if she insists otherwise. The wife maintains control in the relationship by gradually undermining her husband's confidence in his perception and judgment.
They use projection.
Gaslighters have a sneaky way of accusing others of the very flaws and behaviors they themselves are guilty of. This projects the gaslighter's issues onto the victim. A wife asks her husband to stop undermining and belittling her parenting.
I wish you would stop second-guessing every parenting choice I make with accusatory questions. It's really hurting my confidence.
You're the one who constantly criticizes and controls everything I do. You're so verbally abusive.
By projecting his own behaviors onto his wife, the husband avoids accountability and twists the situation to portray himself as the victim. This enables his gaslighting efforts to continue unchecked.
They tell blatant lies.
Narcissists have no qualms about blatantly lying, even when providing evidence of the truth. They stubbornly cling to falsehoods. A woman sees her boyfriend out with his ex and confronts him about lying when he claimed to be working late.
I saw you at dinner with Sarah last night when you said you had to work. Why did you lie?
That wasn't me. You must be confused. I was at the office until 10 p.m. like I said.
Despite clear evidence, the boyfriend sticks to his story in an attempt to overwrite the woman's perception of reality. This demonstrates a lack of honesty, accountability, and respect.
They rewrite history.
Gaslighters will try to erase events or conversations from the victim's memory/history. They insist the victim is recalling things wrong. A friend expresses hesitation about starting a business with her girlfriend, who has repeatedly let her down.
Remember last year when we tried starting that shop and you bailed, leaving me with all the debt? I'm worried that will happen again.
That never happened. You always misremember things. I've always fully followed through on my commitments.
The girlfriend tries to erase her past failure and unreliability, demonstrating a willingness to misleadingly rewrite history to serve her needs in the moment.
They wear you down over time.
Gaslighting is often gradual. Abusive behavior ramps up slowly so the victim doesn't notice the manipulation. A wife confronts her husband about frequently canceling plans with her friends, but keeping plans with his.
This is the 3 odd time this month you've cancelled our double date plans last minute. But you still keep the plans you make alone with your friends.
You're exaggerating. I only canceled once or twice. They specially requested those guy nights. Stop being so needy and dramatic.
The husband incrementally minimizes and dismisses her concerns. After months of this, she begins to feel unreasonable, expecting basic consideration.
They undermine you in front of others.
Narcissists want allies to validate their false version of reality. So they manipulate others into siding against the victim. A man calmly asks his wife not to joke about his anxiety in front of their friends.
Please don't tease me in front of our friends about my anxiety. I've told you many times it hurts my feelings.
Don't be so sensitive. I was just telling them how you completely overreacted the other day. It's not a big deal.
She publicly belittles him to gain control and isolate him from potential support. This trains him over time to keep quiet to avoid further humiliation.
They give backhanded compliments.
Narcissists often disguise insults as compliments. This subtle tactic confuses victims and puts them on the defensive. A woman compliments her friend on her job promotion.
Congratulations on getting promoted. You must have worked so hard. I'm sure your boss just took pity on you, though.
The compliment contains an insulting assumption intended to undermine confidence. This manipulation is difficult to respond to without looking oversensitive.
They character assassinate you.
Narcissists control the narrative by assassinating the character of anyone who opposes their version of reality. A husband defends himself in an argument with his wife.
When you yell at me like this, it feels very disrespectful. Can we talk about this calmly?
Typical selfish addict behavior, blaming everyone else for your problems. You need help.
She slanders him as mentally unstable and untrustworthy in order to dodge accountability and justify her own actions.
They play the victim.
Gaslighters portray themselves as victims to garner sympathy and evade responsibility. An employee confronts their boss about taking credit for their work.
I noticed in the meeting you took credit for my idea. I did all the work on that proposal.
I apologize you feel that way. But I'm under so much pressure from leadership that I have to present everything as my own idea for the sake of the business. This working environment is toxic for me too.
The boss makes excuses to absolve herself of accountability and gain sympathy by claiming the status of victim.
They trivialize your concerns.
Gaslighters dismiss and minimize the victim's worries and objections as frivolous overreactions. This implies the victim is irrational while avoiding accountability. A girlfriend voices concern over her boyfriend frequently canceling their dates, but keeping plans with friends.
This is the 3rd time you flaked on our plans last minute, but still go out with your friends. It hurts my feelings.
You're totally overreacting. I've just been really busy and need guy time too. Don't be so dramatic over nothing.
By trivializing her concerns as an overreaction, the boyfriend avoids addressing her needs and casts her distress as unreasonable. This progressively undermines her confidence in her own perception.
They deflect and dodge.
Rather than address criticisms directly, gaslighters change the subject or make counter-accusations to deflect. A husband confronts his wife about being habitually late to events.
It bothers me when you're always late. We missed the dinner reservation last night because you took over an hour to get ready.
At least I actually put in an effort to look nice. When was the last time you got a haircut or wore something other than a t-shirt?
She dodges accountability and turns the focus back on him. This trains the husband over time to avoid raising issues that may inconvenience her.
They tell you how you really feel.
Gaslighters claim to know your thoughts, feelings, and motives better than you do. This undermines your own emotional self-trust. A friend tells her roommate she's uncomfortable with the frequent overnight guests.
I've been feeling kind of anxious with people I don't know staying over so often. Could we talk about it?
You're not actually anxious. You're just jealous. I've been spending less time with you. You really need to work on your clinginess.
The roommate overrides the friend's emotions and defines her feelings for her. This gradually trains the victim to distrust her own emotions and perceptions.
They play concerned to undermine you.
Gaslighters disguise criticism and judgment as caring concern about the victim's mental health or well-being. A wife complains her husband frequently embarrasses her by joking about her memory lapses.
I wish you wouldn't make jokes about my memory in front of people. It really humiliates me.
I'm just worried about you. Maybe you should see a doctor to check if it's early dementia.
Though framed as concern, the husband is actually implying she is mentally deficient. This phrasing puts her on the defensive and diverts from his inappropriate behavior.
They act increasingly erratic.
Narcissists becomes emotionally volatile as they lose control, swinging rapidly between love bombing and cruel devaluation. A boyfriend begs for forgiveness after his girlfriend catches him cheating.
I'm so sorry. You're the only one for me. I'll never hurt you again. I was just confused. Please don't leave me.
How could you do this? I thought you loved me.
Whatever. You were always too insecure and controlling anyway. Good luck finding anyone better.
His mood shifts on a dime from desperate to cruel when she doesn't immediately forgive his transgression. This whiplash dynamic maintains her anxiety and hypervigilance.
They isolate you from support.
Gaslighters cut victims off from outside input and validation that could challenge their false version of reality. A husband demands his wife end her close friendship with a college friend he feels threatened by.
Your friend doesn't really get our marriage. I need you to stop seeing her. She's poisoning your mind against me.
But we've been friends for years. She's very supportive of me. I don't want to end it.
If you cared about this marriage, you'd cut her off. She's toxic and driving us apart.
By forcing isolation, the husband gains greater control and ensures no outside perspectives undermine his gaslighting narratives.
They accuse you of their behavior.
Narcissists blame the victim for behaviors that they themselves engage in as a form of distraction and projection. A wife confronts her husband about having an affair.
I know you've been sleeping with your assistant. How could you betray me like this?
You're the one who's constantly unfaithful. I know you're cheating on me behind my back.
Though she has been faithful, he accuses her of his own transgression. This puts her on the defensive while smearing her reputation.
They use circular arguments.
Gaslighters rely on catch-22 style circular logic that can never be resolved or falsified. They always back you into an intellectual corner. A husband promises to consult his wife before making financial decisions, but repeatedly fails to do so.
You agreed to discuss major purchases, but you bought another car without telling me. Why won't you keep your word?
You're only upset because of your own trust issues. If you trusted me more, I would involve you in these choices. This is your fault.
His twisted logic prevents productive discussion and leaves her disoriented and self-doubting.
They compare you to abusers.
Gaslighters accuse victims of abusive behaviors that they themselves perpetrate. This shocks and disorients targets. A wife asks her husband to stop belittling her in front of his friends.
I don't like how you put me down as a joke to get laughs from your buddies. It's really demeaning.
You're the abusive one here. Always trying to control who I see. You sound like a domestic abuser.
Though she is reacting to his demeaning behavior, he accuses her of being the true abuser. This distortion helps justify further maltreatment.
They use intimacy to manipulate.
Gaslighters exploit intimate details and vulnerabilities shared in confidence to destabilize victims during devaluation cycles. A girlfriend finds evidence her partner is still active on dating apps. When she confronts him, he retaliates.
Wow. With your mental health history, no wonder you're so paranoid and insecure. Don't drag me down with your problems.
He weaponizes intimate details she confided to justify his own transgressions, regain power, and put her on defense. This ensures she will hesitate to expose him again.
They rewrite the history of your fight.
Gaslighters retell previous arguments with distorted facts to backtrack abusive behavior and play the victim. After a bad fight, a husband wants to smooth things over.
I'm sorry I got so angry and broke your phone. But walking out in the middle of our talk was very childish and triggered me.
In reality, she walked out after he had already shattered her phone in a rage. His rewritten history omits his own instigating abuse while casting himself as the temperamental victim provoked by her behavior. This false narrative makes her doubt her own recollection and feel responsible for his mistreatment of her. I hope these conversation and phrase examples of gaslighting have empowered you to release any misplaced guilt. Were you able to relate to some with narcissists in your life? Join me in fighting against narcissistic abuse and focus on recovering ourselves through healing. If you're already on the path of healing, be sure to monitor your self-talk and check out this video recovering from narcissistic trauma, soothing sleep affirmations for self-care. The link is in the description below. Also, please like, subscribe, and consider donating if you're able to support these videos exposing covert emotional manipulation. Together, we can heal from narcissistic relationships and prevent further victims of their mind games.